Hello, everyone. I'm Ravi Raman with the ICF, and I'm joined by Leslie Getty, co-founder of Generation Exchange, and Jacquie Fedo, president of the ICF, to discuss a really interesting opportunity and partnership coming up soon. Jacquie and Leslie, thanks for joining me.
Really a pleasure. Good morning, Ravi.
Hi, Ravi.
Well, Jacquie, you attended a Generation Exchange event recently. What was that like?
You know, it was an incredible experience. A friend of mine in Boulder invited me to go, and the opportunity was to come with any technology question that we had whatsoever. So I actually went that day wanting to learn some more about social media and how to use that in my own coaching practice. And the other thing I wanted to do was to learn how to use social media to communicate with my teenagers.
So, Leslie, tell us a bit about the mission of Generation Exchange. What's it all about?
I'd love to. And Jacquie actually set it up perfectly because what she said about bringing in her own questions is a core part of what we do. Specifically, we set up chapters in communities where we reach out to older adult population by a whole bunch of different channels and invite them to come to a 2-hour free workshop Saturday mornings where they can bring their technology questions about their phones, about their laptops, whatever it might be, and get those questions answered. And we refer to those participants as our mentees. And then we pair them up one-on-one with volunteer college students. We call them the mentors. And so essentially what they get is 2 hours of undivided attention from a digital native to get their questions answered.
What an interesting opportunity to bring two different groups together to share and empower each other. What was your inspiration for this?
Well, the initial inspiration, this is a nonprofit that I co-founded with my partner, Matt Isola. And his initial inspiration was that his grandfather's best friend, a man named Ted, had been given, he was a career high school teacher and really loved by his students, and he'd been given an iPad for his 94th birthday. And he called up my partner, Matt, his sort of grandson, and said, Matt, I know this thing is going to be great for me, and I don't even know how to turn it on. So Matt went over and sat with him for a few hours and took his old, written phone number directory and put it into the iPad. And suddenly here was Ted communicating with people he hadn't talked with for years via FaceTime and video chat. And as Matt describes it, it was as if he had just waved a magic wand in front of Ted. But I had a similar experience with older adults in my life, and my mom lives independently, and I see the role of technology in her life as being really critically important. And so both of us were inspired to pursue this path of empowering those of us who have not grown up with this technology, empowering them with this knowledge. And so that's really where we started. And then it kind of evolved went into a whole new chapter from there.
Well, tell us about this new chapter.
So my previous career is as a filmmaker, long career doing that. And so I can't really leave that behind me. And so after the first few workshops that Matt and I did, we started doing interviews with the participants. And the benefits to the older adult mentees were quite obvious, and they were very thankful. But we started asking the younger student mentors, well, what's in it for you? And I was amazed to find that every single one of those students in their own way said essentially, I think I got more out of this than I gave to my mentee. And then we started really asking the question about what's going on. And that led us to the next chapter of our own realization, which is the intergenerational connection that really goes on here. It is amazing the bonds that are created and how meaningful that is, not on a technology level, but on an interaction level between these different generations and what they learn about each other and what they gain. Actually, Jacquie, you had a great experience, I think, with your mentor, Melissa, that turned into quite a sharing of your personal life issues, if I remember.
Yeah, we did. And it was just like you said, we totally connected on the personal side. And I loved that the students picked us, like who they were going to mentor through the technology. And she had selected me, and we were really able to connect with the whole teenager space. And then my desire in my own business to be able to connect with people, with leaders in different generations, and how does that look, and how do I leverage technology to do that. And so she was just a wealth of knowledge, and I felt like I created a new friendship just by that one morning that we spent together.
Leslie, it would be great if you can paint a picture of what an event might look like, how it would typically work in one of these generation exchange experiences.
Gladly, I'll try to keep it a little bit succinct here. So these are always Saturday morning. We find that the combination of all these generations seem to have their highest energy on a Saturday morning. Everybody feels quite open to, let's make this thing happen. We have the students arrive a little earlier at 9:45, and we tell everybody, mentors and mentees, that we provide free coffee and breakfast burritos. That's pretty good for the students. And so they show up at 9:45, and we have an introductory session. And we talk about, we have lots of veterans. We have a return rate of about 50%, both on the part of the student mentors and on the part of the mentees. But for the new students that haven't been there, we talk with them, and the very first thing we say is, gosh, we know what your first question is going to be, which is, what if I can't answer the questions of my mentee? Because everybody's worried about that. And what we tell them is, really don't worry about this. You can most of the questions you'll be answered, you can probably do in your sleep, that kind of thing. But then the second part of that is, when you get to the point that you say, oh, I don't know the answer to that, let's go look it up. You've transformed the relationship to technology of a lot of the mentees. Because of the differences in generations, about how us as an older generation really grew up with our identity about being, the things that we know. I'm a great scientist because that's what I know. I'm a great lawyer because that's what I know. I'm a great whatever, right? And yet these younger generations really thrive on the, I don't know, let's go find it out. And so that sharing is really critical. And we talk about that with them. And we talk a little bit more about the generational differences, and then basically we say, keep your hands off, let them drive. It's their session. And they are thankful that the mentees come with their own questions, with their own topics. And then the final thing that we do, and Jackie made some reference to this, is that we've already prepared a kind of a spreadsheet, if you will, of what the interests and characteristics are of the mentees that are coming. And so we share that with the mentors, and that could be everything from, gosh, I want to work on Gmail, I want to figure out how to do that better, to I want to figure out how to put bunny ears on Snapchat to my daughter and my granddaughter. Or we actually had one woman come in and say, I really want to refine my skills with 3D modeling, which kind of startled us, but it just so happened we had somebody that was an expert in 3D modeling. So we have the student mentors go through that list, because there could also be things like, I'm looking forward to making a new young friend, or I'm looking forward to sharing my travel experiences. I mean, it could be any number of things. And so they pick who they want to work with. There's a little bit of a pairing up thing. By the time the mentees arrive at 10:30, there's already kind of that matching up process, and people just sit down. We do a very brief intro, and then for 2 hours we have a room full of one-on-one pairings, and everybody is intimately involved with each other, and at the same time you're in a community of everybody doing this. And Ravi, I got to tell you, if you walk into the room at that moment, the power of what's going on is astonishing. It will warm your heart, literally.
Wonderful. And so Jackie, what inspired you to think about a partnership with ICF and Generation Exchange?
Yeah, I saw this wonderful energy and this opportunity of these young people that were so willing to, as Leslie said, be a mentor. And I was just thinking about our coaching community and the opportunity that we have to fulfill part of our mission within ICF Colorado, supporting the health and growth and success of our coaches but also to demonstrate the value of professional coaching into the community and creating access for that. So Leslie and I got together and started brainstorming, like, how could we create a co-event where we could give back to each of these communities of the students providing this technology, expertise, and with our coaches who could provide the coaching expertise to the students. So as we got together, we said, well, how could we do that and leverage the Standing Generation Exchange event, but create a pilot event that after we have that beautiful morning with the technology, that we'd flip the tables. And at that point, then our coaches that sign up to be part of this pilot program will then have the opportunity to coach the students that sign up for it. And again, on any topic that, the student wants to be coached on in terms of what's going on in their life, their relationships, career, academic goals. And I'm a huge believer as a leadership coach and really exploring what's happening intergenerationally. And so the opportunity for us to tap into a younger generation and be able to give back and learn in that space is just really appealing to me. And I'm super excited about what Generation Exchange is doing within the state of Colorado. I got to go to the program in Boulder, and we're piloting a program there for our chapter, but they are spreading out to other universities around the state. And so depending on how this pilot goes and the value that we can bring as an organization, there may be an opportunity down the road that we would be able to do this in different places throughout Colorado, which expands the opportunity within the chapter for coaches to get involved in a more local or regional area close to where they live.
Wonderful. And it sounds like there's an event coming up soon. Are you able to share details on what's happening and when, and how coaches can get involved in this program?
What I'd really like to do is invite any of our member coaches that are interested in participating to look for information on our base camp. And you can sign up there, and we'll ask you to submit your profile and your availability. And the signature pilot event will be in Boulder. It's on Saturday, November 16th. And again, we really encourage you to come to an event prior to that, just so that you can get the experience, the energy, and the vibe of what's going on. And all of that information will be posted on our ICF Colorado base camp.
Leslie and Jacquie, I just want to thank you for helping create this amazing opportunity for coaches and mentors to come together, coaches and students to come together and exchange their expertise. I'm looking forward to being a part of it. And if people just want to learn more, Leslie, about Generation Exchange and the work you're doing, where should they go?
The website is generationexchange.org. When you first arrive there, it's really geared towards the sign-up process, just a very basic introduction and the sign-up process, and links for signing up as either a mentee or a mentor and so on. But I would encourage also your members to take a look specifically at our mission page, the link that is there. We've put our hearts into trying to communicate there what really is our motivations in doing this, what's under the hood, and what really drives us and what we're trying to achieve.
Perfect, Leslie and Jacquie. I'll see you in November.
Sounds great. Thank you.